Good afternoon and welcome everyone to the second technical session of the Bharath Sangeeta Sammelan 2022. The theme for this session is Reinventing Music for the Current and the Next Generation. The goal of this session is to establish meaningful connections to the root of classical music by helping the younger generation appreciate it, while also giving them the freedom to reinvent it to make it relevant to the current times. Our distinguished speakers this afternoon are Vidwan Rajesh, who will speak on innovation in music for one's elevation. A mandolin virtuoso, a composer, arranger, and a record producer, he is the younger brother and disciple of the legendary master musician, late mandolin U. Srinivasji. His collaboration with John McLaughlin for the album Floating Point earned him a Grammy nomination in 2009. Rajesh ji is one of the directors of the Srinivas Institute of World Music, founded by his elder brother, offering free music classes to students in India and abroad. We also have Pandit Chetan Joshi, who will speak on the topic Music as a Means to Free Expression. Pandit Chetan Joshi is one of the senior-most flautists in Indian classical music. For more than 35 years, he has performed in innumerable concerts in India and abroad. He followed his calling early in life and began learning the bamboo flute in the Guru Shishya Parampara. His talent was nurtured under the keen and watchful eyes of some of the most revered gurus of India. He has performed at various prestigious venues in India and abroad and is actively involved in teaching flute and promoting Indian classical music. And our third speaker is Vidwan B.C. Manjunath. A dynamic artist with outstanding credentials, Manjunath ji revealed an innate musical talent even as a young boy and imbibed the best in Carnatic Tala Vadya from his parents, eventually training in Mridangam. He is well versed in various styles of music, including Indian classical, world music, modern jazz, contemporary dance, and many more. He is a composer and innovator of many unique rhythmic cycles such as the Fibonacci Tala, triangular numbers Tala, and many more talas of his own creation. He is also known as a practitioner and proponent of Konnakol. He will speak on the topic, Rhythmizing the Lives of Youth, Lessons from Konnakol. This afternoon, we have Mrs. Rashmi Malik as the session chair. Mrs. Rashmi Malik has been working relentlessly as a volunteer for SPIC-McKay, the Society for the Promotion of Indian Classical Music and Culture amongst youth, for nearly 23 years. Her portfolio of work covers experience in ideating and implementing cultural programs of varying sizes and for diverse audiences, identifying and coordinating with upcoming and well-established performing artists, raising awareness and exposure to classical traditions, liaising with the public sector, and many, many more. And of course, we have with us our conference chair, Dr. Mysore Manjunath. I'll now hand it over to Mrs. Rashmi Malik.
Sairam, good afternoon and welcome to the second session again. And with the permission of the chair, Rashmi ji, I take the honor and pleasure of opening up the session number 2. As it was announced, as per Swami's guidelines, this second session is predominantly aimed at taking the glory of Indian classical music to the next generation. How to inspire the next generation, how to make them understand the value of Indian classical music, how to make them learn classical music, how to make them take music as their profession, how to make them look at music as something which is really, really fantastic, how to make them have the feeling of immense pride that they are learning Indian classical music. All these things are going to be dealt by these 3 amazing musicians, So each one of them is a brilliant instrumentalist, and we have requested them to talk from their heart, their personal experience, because all of them have performed all over the world for many different countries, different culture, people from different regions and all, different countries and all. So what is it that, how to connect to the next generation? One of the worry, as Swami always has, as Swami always was expressing, when we look at the classical music scenario, more than 80%, more than 72 plus percent of the audience is above 50, 60, 70 or whatever. Why not youngster? Why is it not that, what is it that Indian classical music lacks in order to attract them? Is Western classical music or pop music or film music is more attractive? Why? If we are not able to project our classical music in such a manner, what are the things that needs to be dealt with? These kinds of very technical, immensely relevant for the contemporary season, contemporary scenario. Swami thought that we should include it as a second session, and we are going to open up the session. We are immensely happy that Rashmi ji, being one of the top officials of SPICMAK, who has been personally dealing the student and classical music scenario for 23 years. She must have seen more than, she's responsible in taking classical music of India to lakhs of people. I don't say thousands of people, lakhs of people. She has the experience of dealing with the students from nursery to IIT students, to PhD students in IIT, all sorts of people. Those who never had any occasion to listen to classical music, because of SPICMAK, because of her passion, they all got introduced, they all got exposed to Indian classical music at a different occasions. And because of that, we have personally seen hundreds of music lovers living somewhere else outside the country, but still loving Indian classical music. And thanks to SPICMAK, they all owe all their musical inclination to SPICMAK. And then here is the lady who is, along with Kiran Zetji, who is the brain of all these ideas. And we thought that there could be no better personality than Rashmi ji to chair the second session. And we have a fantastic panel here. And may I request my wonderful friend Rajesh ji to present his first paper. 79. And here is a magician who always made his instrument speak. Today we said, you speak. So he's here. Rajesh ji.
Sairam, Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Pranams to lotus feet of our Sadguru. Pranams to all the great artists, Aruna ji, Rashmi, Malik ji, Manjunath ji, another Manjunath ji, Chetan ji, all the great musicians sitting in front. When Swami said, I got a call from Manjunath ji saying, 22nd, how are you? I said, I'm free, I'll play. He said, don't play, you talk. For a musician, performing musician, I think it's very, very difficult to speak then perform is very easier for us. There are 3 occasions I was so nervous when I was writing my 10th board exam. And when I got married, and today I'm very nervous. See, morning, Arunaji and Manjunath ji spoke so well. After that, I don't think so. If people like me speak, it wouldn't even, it's like a small fact in front of sun. I feel like, in Mahabharata fight, Arjuna, when he sees Bhishmas, all these Maharathis, if he is almost want to run away. So I am in the same situation. Please, Swami, save me. Today's topic is about innovation and how to take it to the next generation. I humbly consider myself as next generation only. I'm not too old. And also fusion music. Again, it's my view. A fusion word is not the right word. It's evolution. Fusion has been there forever. Like Carnatic, before the Carnatic music was formulated, it was, Arunaji would definitely agree with me. We didn't have talam. It's that people were singing with Vritham, and then they adapted from Tirupugal. It was only Chandam, there is no talam, and then they adapted. So fusion was there forever. So only thing is we use that word right now because English. It was evolution. Always there is a fusion music, Carnatic music was slowly, before GNB, sir, if I'm not wrong, it was only Chauka Kalam. It was very slow, like va, ta, big. It was so slow. And he revolutionized and made it very fast. And my guru, Sri U. Srinivasji, he's a revolution because when Carnatic music was there and he came as a storm with an instrument, Italian instrument, which is a family of lute. It's completely foreign instrument. I think that's the greatest revolution he made to the Carnatic music, bringing a completely strange instrument to our Carnatic music and making it, very special. Of course, Manjunath ji, violin was not part of Carnatic music. And then it became integral part of Carnatic music. So the fusion was always there. It's just, we started using this fancy name fusion now. It is always evolution. It keeps on changing and changing generation. We all need fusion in life. Like in our dress or food. After 4 days of eating idli, we want cocktail idli, fried idli, podi idlis. But the contents is the same. Like, in the divinity is same, the forms are different. So I would like to explain how my brother, from a very strange or a very faraway instrument, which is Italian instrument, which he adapted to our Carnatic music. I'll just expand a little bit with my instrument. As originally the mandolin has 8 strings, 4 pair of strings, and then my Guruji, Srinivasji, has modified it to 5 single string because Gamakam is very important. So I will play how the original mandolin sounds and what he adapted it. So that was the difference he made from straight notes to using gamakas. Then it's when we all talk about innovation, and first of all, there's always opportunities and connect between different genres. For example, I see an opportunity when I sit at home and play the Shankaravara Ragam. My little daughter looks at me just like that, and then no expressions. I was wondering, just play something for me, no? So we should actually understand, see the way to attract them. So when I play Shankaravarna at home, so when I play this, she just stares at me. But the moment I play, that's a very popular daddy finger, mother finger, where are you? But it's still in Shankaravarna. And this is how you have to find ways to connect with the next generation. Playing Shankaravana, she'll wait till I finish the full ragam, and if I play that, and then she's happy. So I think we need to find little ways to attract the next generation. That's what my opinion. As I told you, there's always, the source is the same. Tyagaraja Swami was in India, and the Western classical composer from Europe. But the beauty is, there is a Kriti in Kirvani, Kalige Ante Kada, which has got a very good Western composition called Ronda La Tarka, which has got two ragams, which is Kirvani and Mand. So it goes like this. The next raga is like Mand. both completely, I don't think so they've ever met different centuries, these both composers. But can you see the similarities? So this is how, when you find the way, and then immediately they can recognize Rondala Turka, yes? And then now you'll listen to Kirvani when I play Ragam. So I think that's one of the ways. I'm not saying this is the only way, but one of the ways to connect with young. And as we said, in 80s and 90s, there was an amazing band called Shakti, remember Shakti, which was completely focused on Carnatic music. It's formed by English legendary guitarist John McLaughlin and our great L. Shankar sir. And that created a massive impact on those days' next generation. That was me. I was completely blown. I used to have big pictures of L. Shankar sir and John McLaughlin sir when I was growing up. So I think every generation has, I meant to say again, not fusion, but evolution. So we need to find the right way to connect. In fact, I will again ask Arunaji, because there's a great singer in Tamil Nadu called Maduramani Iyer. So he was a pure Carnatic musician, but can you believe that classical music, normally only the elite crowd comes, that's what happens. But for his concert, all the rickshawalas, autowalas, we used to wait to listen to him. He's a pure Carnatic musician. That means he found a way to connect with them. One of the greatest composition, it was simple, straightforward. It's called English Notes. And even about 50 years, 60 years back, he composed it. It's like mind-blowing composition. I'll play a little bit from that. So what I believe is we have to find the way. It is not that there's no way. People like us, Arunaji, Malikji, Rashmi, Malikji, we have to find a way to attract the next generation. In fact, we all got attracted that way, somewhere. So I think it's the path. We have some 5 more minutes. How do people talk so beautifully without seeing papers? That's an art. So before I conclude, I have a small incident. I had a student from Europe. He was an Indian origin. So he came to learn from me. He said he was so fascinated with the instrument. Before I go there, I want to tell this is a fusion instrument, a well-evolved instrument. It was not in India, but still, I have Ma Saraswati engraved on back. And it plays Carnatic music, so it's all about evolution. I don't use the word fusion at all. I hope you all agree with that. So this guy comes and asks, sir, thank you. This young boy from Europe comes and asks me, sir, I'm fascinated to learn Carnatic music. I said, okay. Sir, one thing is missing in Carnatic music. What is it? I said, there's nothing exciting, sir. He said, what should excite you? The music itself is so exciting. I said, listen, you are not look into it properly, because there is excitement in it. All the great pop rock music have come from classical music. I'm not saying only Carnatic music. A lot of pop music was written from Western classical music, a lot of jazz music. So I played him Karahara Priya, like. So after finished, he was looking at me like that. Sir, I said, excitement, sir. I said, what more do you need in this? It's so divine excitement. Then I asked him to look even more deeper. One of the great pop songs were in this rag. Like for example, I hope you will recognize it. I am hoping playing it correctly. He was able to, point it. It's still Karharapriya. What was the song? That was Michael Jackson's song. But it was in pure Karharapriya rag. So that's how, it's all there. We need to find, and then we need to help the younger generation to find what is exciting about the music. Dr. Consit sir, you agree with me? Do you agree with me? Okay. Anyway, thank you for this wonderful opportunity. If I've spoken something wrong, my apologies, but this is my view, and my humble pranams to all the great musicians, Arunaji, Rashmi, Malik ji, and thank you, Swami, for giving this wonderful opportunity, and dear Manjunath sir, thank you for this opportunity. Namaskaram. Thank you. Sai Ram.
Thank you, Rajesh. You spoke quite well for saying that you cannot speak. You can speak as well as you can play. So, first of all, I'd like to thank Sadguru Swami for inviting me to be part of this beautiful, beautiful conference here. I'm absolutely honored, and I have to thank Dr. Manjunath Vaiso for bringing me here today. Spikmake, I know most of you may not be very familiar with it. It's a movement that takes great masters like Arunama and Dr. Manjunath and all of the Chetan, Joshi, all of them to young people like you sitting over here. This is what Spikmake does. We take Muhammad to the mountain. So that's how we work. We work backwards. But I really would like to just give my observations on what Rajesh just said. Of course, it's evolution. There are many, many instruments in Indian classical music, harmonium, sarod, santoor, they've all come from outside India. And they've been very beautifully integrated in our classical traditions. Yes, it is very nice to go down to their level to give them what they want to these young people. But when we were growing up, Rajesh, we were made to sit through concerts for 3, 4 hours, even though you'd get tired and not very happy about being made to sit. We sat through that. With the result, when we grew up, we saw the value of pure music, the kind of impact pure music has, the kind of values it brings along. So while it is nice to give them a little introduction through popular music or, as you said, you don't call it fusion, but I think it is very important for them to stay connected to pure music, pure classical traditions. Because if it wasn't for our connection with pure traditions, our composite heritage wouldn't have come this far. So many thousands, we would have lost it in between, it would have got diluted at various levels. But yes, it is very important for the next generation for us to sort of keep them engaged in this meaningful pursuit of classical music. We have many ways. I mean, even cinema, we have Kunal Ganjawala ji here. Indian cinema has been responsible for adding some beautiful ragas to some popular music. So that is one way. And cinema has always been very impactful it's had great impact on young people. We've had some great cinema also, which on music, on various issues, social issues. After that, we feel something Spikmake started, and I think that's maybe one way of, you were talking about a 3-year-old daughter. Spikmake started something called Aramb. Aramb is a play school of music, where a 2.5-year-old child is learning colors or A, B, C, D, or, numbers. At the same time, all 7 notes are being taught. And we were so impressed to see that a 2.5-year-old child picked up the notes so beautifully. So that is also one way of sort of keeping, taking it to our next and future generations. But yes, now I'm not going to take too much of your time. There are 2 more great musicians here who are going to make their presentations. Dr. Manjunath, Mysore, will now take it forward for here.
Thank you, Rashmi ji. And Rajesh ji, you are a wonderful speaker too. And of course, nothing to compare your musical expression, because anything that was not possible to express through words, his instrument could. And then that is what has been happening all these years. At the same time, musicians like you, somebody who has innovative approach, and somebody who has traveled extensively, someone who has a huge experience, should definitely talk so that, we students and everybody will be really benefited. Your views, your conviction, your perception towards music, what you think about music. Many people, especially students, will be really curious to know what is the mind process, what is happening when you sing any raga. Any phrase you sing, you play, or whatever thing, what is happening in his brain, mind, or soul? Is music coming from brain, or music coming from heart, or just nabi, or this, or whatever? Or it's a culmination of every single thing, or experience, which is the software, which is the hardware? Hundreds of different wonderful technical things are happening there. And in order to explain all those things, we definitely need a performer who has a really practical experience. And thank you so much. And we will be troubling you very often. And then I will be personally requesting Swami to trouble you with more occasions like this, so that you can come and then share all your experiences with all these things. That was wonderful. Thank you so much, Rajesh ji. Chetan Joshi ji, one of the frontline exponents of Bansuri in Indian classical music today. He lives in Delhi, and of course, all his profile and everything you already know. But still, 1 or 2 important things I want to share with you. He's a very sensible, sensitive musician, an academician, and person who works a lot than talk. Then, just like Rajesh ji, he also says that, I can talk only through my instrument. But we say, no, you come and then talk. No, you will keep your instrument there. You already talked through your instrument yesterday. And then today we want to listen to you. He is going to talk today about the music as a tool of free expression. What is expression? This is a very interesting topic. Ultimately, don't think that what is this? Just a Todi raga. You already heard Todi raga a billion times. Is it only Todi, or something, your expression, you wanted to express something through raga, your emotion? Or is it something super special thing you always wanted to tell through your music? These are the wonderful topics, techniques called expression. And without expression, music cannot survive. You write something, you write a poetry because you want to express some emotions. I paint something because I want to express some emotion through painting. In music, musical expression happens because you want to express your emotions, your thoughts, your ideas, or whatever. And then now may I call upon Pandit Chetan Joshi ji to talk about this wonderful topic this afternoon. Please.
Hari Om. Honorable Chairperson of the conference, Dr. Manjunath ji. Honorable Chairperson of this session, Ms. Rashmi, Malik ji. Just now we heard Vidwan, you Rajesh ji, and we are going to listen Vidwan B.C. Manjunath ji. I can see luminaries in the audience also. Kunal ji is there, Dimitri is there, and many great musicians, great persons, honorable guests, ladies, gentlemen, and children. Today, in the morning session, Sadguru ji has said that this place is a holy place because there is a Mahayagya going on here. And it's my privilege, I take pride in giving my samidha to this Mahayagya. As Manjunath ji has told, when Rajesh ji and morning session Nirmala Rajsekhar ji were sitting with their instrument, I was thinking that why didn't I bring my instrument? But then I was told, no, you have already performed yesterday. So you don't have that facility. And here, I always feel that playing flute is easier than speaking. It's my firm belief. And that too, when Dr. Manjunath ji has spoken so brilliant in the morning session, so well, and Aruna Sairam ji, and so many. And after that, you asked me to speak. So you can understand my manobhav, how I might be feeling. Feeling lost. Still, I'll try my best. So the topic, as we can see in the slide, that is music as a means to free expression. Now this free expression sometimes becomes very misleading. Because as you know, I have come from Delhi. And in Delhi, people ask vote for everything free. Free electricity, free water, free this and that. Rashmi ji might be agreeing with me that do we require that kind of free expression? I think no. What I feel and how I interpret as free expression is freedom of expression. So, free expression, I'm sorry. as I was saying, is not free at all. It is freedom of expression, how we need to go, what we need to do, etc., etc. And when we talk about free expression or freedom of expression, immediately the first question comes to our mind is, how much freedom do we need? Freedom is not without boundaries. There are some limitations. If we understand those limitations, we will be a better human being, a better musician, a better performer, and everything. So, to understand what kind of freedom we need to understand the basic requirements of our society. Because freedom is related to society. If somebody tells you that you are free to behave as animals, we would not like it, certainly. We want to remain human. We want to remain in the society. We want to be loved by the society, respected by the society, yet want to avail the freedom. So, a small trial to understand our society itself, the kind of fabric of our society. See, there is a basic difference between the our Indian society and society outside India. The building blocks, like when you prepare a building, you need bricks. So what are those bricks to make our society? See, in the Western society, individuality is given more value, and individual is the basic unit of society. However, in India, the basic unit of our society is family. So our thoughts start from family. It doesn't remain to the individual. And that is why we are very familiar with these words. Like here also, you say Sathya Sai Parivar. This Parivar shabd comes immediately. Muddenahalli Parivar. If you are staying in a city, Bangalore Parivar, Delhi Parivar, sometimes it is Tata Parivar. Why this Parivar comes? Why this family word comes? Because it is inherent in our society. And the same thoughts are reflected in our music also. It is not that we as an individual, we are artists. But at the same time, we are part of a bigger family which is called Guru Parampara. So when I was introduced, before my introduction, my Guru's introduction came. Why? Have you ever heard who was the Guru of Michael Jackson? No. It was not required. I'm not saying good or bad. That is the basic difference between the thought process. And here, our introduction, rather before our introduction, our Guru's introduction comes. Because the building block is different. Thought process starts from a different note. So, when you try to express yourself, when you take freedom of expression, always take care of the basic concept, that is family, unit. of our society. Now, as freedom of expression for youth, what do we need? Of course, 2-3 things we require. One second. So, 1 or 2 things which we need to understand is there cannot be absolute freedom. Now, I'll quote a story from Natya Shastra. Manjunath ji was telling today that Natya Shastra page number this and that. No, I am not saying that page numbers. I am telling a famous story. It happened so that when Bharath Muni ji has already created Natya Shastra, and based on Natya Shastra, he was ready to produce a show before the audience. And the first natak, do you know which was the first natak? Can anybody say? Which was the first natak Bharath Muni ji has prepared? Amrita Manthan, very nice, so good. Or Samudra Manthan, you can say. So, when Samudra Manthan Natak was being presented before the audience, and who was the audience? Audience was Devagana, Danavagana, Manavagana, Nagagana, Kinnar, Gandharva, everybody was there. All were invited. And when Samudra Manthan scene was being presented, Danav became very angry. They said, see, in this natak, they are doing our apaman. They are not taking care of us. So we will revolt. And they started, breaking the stage and sets and other things, because they were very angry. They said, you are showing only the good parts of the Devatas and not showing our good parts. And this came to the knowledge of Bharath Muni ji. Bharath Muni went along with others to Brahma ji. Now Brahma ji, the matter was produced before Brahma ji's court, and then Virupaksh, the king of Danav, he was present there. And Brahma ji asked that why you are creating trouble to the theater presentation. Then Virupaksh said that, see, it was our insult. How can we continue this, watching this? Then Brahma ji has said that no, don't take theater as the reality. That was the decision given to the people who were there. Devatas and Danav both were there. So theater is only for entertainment. Don't take it as a reality. So no man and apman are involved with this. Now Virupaksh understood the thing, and he promised that he will not create any trouble to the theater presentation. Now here, that story apart, think about the situation. In that situation, when the Danavas were creating trouble, Bharath Muni could have used power of Devatas, or Devatas themselves could have used power and they could have stopped Danavas. But Bharath Muni said that no, I require Danavas also as the audience. And Brahmaji, whatever decision he has given, Danavas also have understood that and they have followed that. Why? because a family concept is there. Pitamaha is saying something, so we have to take care of his words. So this, since very beginning, this kind of give and take is happening in our art forms. In our art forms, we respect Devatas also and Danavas also. Without both, our work will not flourish. This is since Natya Shastra's time. So, another thing, we require creativity in our expression. Fine, creativity is inherent in our classical music and music system. We all know creativity is everywhere. Rajesh was telling about fusion and other things. I firmly believe that there are only two kinds of music in entire world. Only two kinds of music. One is good music and one is bad music. If it is good, it is appreciated everywhere. And irrespective of language or system or whatever you follow. Like in Japan, in a remote village I was performing. Japanese, otherwise also they don't know Hindi, English or any other than Japanese language, they don't know other languages. And there, I was playing a folk song. Now, I'll sing one or two lines. Please forgive me, I have never practiced singing, so you can understand I can go here and there, but still just for example's sake. कांच ही बांस के बहंगिया बहंगी लचकत जाए बहंगी लचकत जाए बाट ही पुछनी बटोहिया ईदल के करा के जाए ईदल के करा के जाए. Now this is Thet Bhojpuri, the Bhojpuri language also, which is sung in the remote villages, that style of Bhojpuri. And I am presenting before the Japanese people and they are asking for once more. So based on our traditional music, we have complete freedom to creativity, show our creativity within that boundary, within that premises. We have to move. We can move anywhere. Now, another thing which we have to imbibe is values in our expression. Now, this raga system itself tells us that where could we go and where we have to limit ourselves. In Hansadhvani, we cannot use Dhaivat. We cannot use Komal Rishabh. No, it is not allowed. So, we know that, yes, this is Vadi Swaram, this is Samvadi Swaram, this is Anuvadi Swar, fine. But when it comes to Vivadi Swar, a very different kind of definition is there of Vivadi, that Vivadi Swar, वह है जो राग को नष्ट कर देता है, which finishes the rag. But at the same time it is said that Vivadi Swar used by Vidwan increases the beauty of the raga. So see what kind of freedom is given while expression. There are so many songs which without Vivadi, if you sing, it will lose its identity. Kunal ji is sitting, please pardon me for my bad voice. But one of the song you might have, if you have heard Mehndi Hasan Sahab. How many of you have heard Mehndi Hasan? Ghazal? Is there anyone who has heard? No one. I'm so happy. So, he's one of the great singer. And one line of one very famous ghazal, Kya toota hai andar andar, kyun chehra kumlaya hai, tanha tanha rone walo, tanha tanha rone walo, कौन तुम्हें याद आया है, in Kalyani Komal Rishabh. If you don't use that, then this ghazal will not sound beautiful as it is presented by Mehndi Hasan Sahab. So Vivadi Swar. So people can take liberty up to that also, but within the periphery of raga. Raga should be maintained. As music, we know that it's a powerful tool. And we have one very interesting thing happened that I was looking for definition of music. Encyclopedia Britannica also, you can see so many interesting definitions are there. Some of the Vidwans has said that music is that which cannot be defined. So they disagree that music could be defined also. But in India, a very unique definition is there. Geetam Vadyam Tatha Nrityam Prem Sangeetam Uchyate. Now this is unique to India only. Geetam and Vadyam is all accepted. There are so many people in the world who have understood music by Geetam and Vadyam. But Nrityam, how could Nrityam be part of music? But our Vidwans have made it integral part. So Geetam is the content of music which you are singing. Content could be sung with swaras also, and it could be sung in your heart also. You all can sing without opening your mouth. Without even a sound, you can sing in your heart. Geetam is the content. Vadyam is the instrument. When you are singing, your Vadya is your throat. When you are performing an instrumental music, that instrument is your Vadyam. But third thing is also very important. That is Nrityam. The way Manjunath ji uses his fingers. The way Rajesh ji has just hold his instrument. If that is not mastered, you cannot perform complete music. So Nrityam is also equally good. Today morning, Sadguru ji was telling about the silence. Manjunath ji, on Mridangam, he and Mukund Dev ji has performed yesterday, where he only done this. And Mukund Dev ji also done this only. So that is the expression or the dance, Nrityam, which is equally important. So we need to take care of this part. So in nutshell, our classical music is the aesthetic music with rules and regulations. I will now go with this part. Youngsters who have aptitude for music, what they have to do. Like today, we have all heard so many beautiful bhajans. And Ashwin is sitting here. Yes, lovely flute he has played today. I heard first time. He's so good. So it comes to our mind, what is so special in these artists? What is not there in the Samanya people, general people, and why artists are so special? Acharya Abhinav Gupta has given the answer. He said, artists are as good or bad as other people, other general people. But artists have two extra qualities. Two extra. The rest of the things are same. Two extra qualities they have. What are they? They are Akhya and Prakhya. Akhya is the power of expression. How you express yourself. Maybe through your Geetam, maybe through your Vadyam, or maybe through your dance, or all three together. How you express your Manobhava. That is the power of the artist. And second thing is Prakhya, talent. Every artist has talent. That talent, if it is by birth, it is good. If it is not there by birth, it could be imbibed with the Guru Kripa. If Guru bless, the person could earn talent. It will take time, but he can get that. So these are the things which I wanted to say. Few other things are also there, but I would come to the last slide of my presentation. You can see two drawings or paintings, you can say. In first one, you can see that a boy or small kid is learning how to walk. And when a child learns walking, he becomes very much excited. He loves walking. And then mother also takes him to the field or road or somewhere in the open space. And then child starts running also sometimes, leaving mother's hand. But you might have observed, when the child runs or walks up to 5-10 steps, he turns back and looks at mother. Whether mother is with me or not. Whether mother is very far away or I have to stop. Our culture, our Sanskriti is our mother. Whatever we have to do, we have to look back and see we are not far away from our mother, our culture. With this, I thank Sadhguruji, all of you, and chairs. Thank you very much.
Chetanji, you spoke so well. Your words were the words which are the need of the hour, and very well expressed that yes, there is freedom that is needed for the youngsters, but within a certain parameter, within a certain, like a raga, you can have as much of freedom in creativity, but still there are rules, there are bindings that you have to stick to. And I have to say that I agree with you, and I'm sure many of people sitting here have already in their applaud agreed with you that yes, we have to stick to our roots, to our culture, which is one of the most richest in the world. And I feel very proud to say that our composite heritage, Indian culture, is one of the richest cultures in the world. It is for these young, it's their inheritance, and we need to keep it very close to ourselves, not 2-3 steps behind either. Thank you so much. You spoke so well.
Wow, that was really, really beautiful as your wonderful melodies from your Bansuri Panditji. Absolutely straight from your heart, all your experiences. That is the beauty when practical musicians themselves come and then talk. You know, it is not Google searched thing. These things are not found in libraries. You know, no matter wherever you go, no. It is only practical sheer experiences through which Rajesh ji spoke and Chetan ji spoke. And, you know, our views about different aspects of classical music. That is why, you know, this session, both the mornings and then this evening session are so interesting. Thank you so much. One thing you mentioned about Vivadi notes. Even in Carnatic classical music also, Vivadi Swara, as we call, has a very, very significant role to play. Vivadi Ragas and then some of the wonderful Vivadi Ragas we usually call as exotic raga. You know, very exotic raga. They just one note and Raga's entire beauty gets totally changed thing, and it takes totally different approach altogether. As opposed to Sari Ga Ma Pa Da Ni Sa Sa Da Ni Da Ma Pa Ga Ma Ri Ga Ri. What a raga it is. Amazing raga. ಯಾರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ವಿವಾದಿ ರಾಗಗಳನ್ನು ಹಾಡಬಾರ್ದು ಅಂತ. ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಡಿಸ್ಕಷನ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ವಿವಾದಿ ರಾಗಗಳು ಎಂಥ ಅದ್ಭುತವಾದ ರಾಗ. ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ಎ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ದಟ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಒನ್ಸ್ ಅಪಾನ್ ಎ ಟೈಮ್ ಸೆಡ್ ಯು ಶುಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ಸಿಂಗ್ ವಿವಾದಿ ರಾಗಾಸ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಬ್ಯಾಡ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್ಸ್ ಅಟ್ ಯುವರ್ ಹೌಸ್. I have absolutely no idea who is that criminal who made this statement. Yenta raga ri, yenta raga. Pa ma ba ma ga ma ba ma ga ri. Ra 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 ri. ಎಂಥ ಶೇಡು. ಸಂಗೀತಕ್ಕಿಂತ I have not seen much sophisticated, much powerful tool than music that can make people cry. ಒಬ್ಬನಿಗೆ ಹೊಡಿದೆ, ಒಬ್ಬನಿಗೆ ಬೈದೆ, ಒಬ್ಬನಿಗೆ ಏನು ಕಲ್ಲು ಹೊಡಿದೆ, ಏನು ಮಾಡಿದೆ, ಒಬ್ಬನ ಅಳಿಸ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ ಸಂಗೀತಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಬೇಕಾ? You agree with me, right? You understand now? We all witnessed it. People cry. People buy tickets and then come and then cry. ಟಿಕೆಟ್ ತಗೊಂಡು ಕಚೇರಿಗೆ ಬಂದು ದುಡ್ಡು ತಗೊಂಡು ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದಾಗ ಅಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ, ಅಳೋದರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಸಂತೋಷ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ತೋರಿಸ್ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೇ ಸಂಗೀತ. The only music. You agree with me? You agree with me, Ramsiji? You right? People go, pay ticket and then come to cry. And there is an absolute bliss and happiness in crying. This can happen only in music. Idikke Vivadi notegalu, you know, have such a tremendous impact. We need to have one exclusive. We will request Swami to give permission to have an Vivadi's one beautiful ಒಂದು ಇದನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಏನೋ ವಿವಾದಿ, the impact of Vivadi Swaras, you know, an amazing thing. Every raga has a character. ಯಾವ ರಾಗ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳಿ ನೋಡೋಣ. ಒಂದು ರಾಗ ಹೇಳಿ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ನನಗಿಷ್ಟ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಅನ್ಬೋದೇ ವಿನಃ You can say that you don't like one raga, or you cannot say that this raga is not good. No, maybe that raga may not be your favorite raga. But every raga has a character. Every raga has a personality. Every raga can give you so much of emotion. Helo emotion no. Helidero emotion no. Yalla emotion no helakkagodilla. You know, ಯಾವ ಎಮೋಷನ್ನು ಹೇಳೋಕ್ಕಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದನ್ನು. ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಸೋ ಹ್ಯಾಪಿ, ಐ ಆಮ್ ಡಲ್, ಐ ಆಮ್ ಬ್ಯೂಟಿ ಅಂತ ಏನೋ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಅನ್ಬೋದೇ ವಿನಃ ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದನ್ನು ಹಿಂಗೆ ಹೇಳೋಕ್ಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ ನಾನು. ಸೊ ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ಬಂದು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಹೇಳಿ ನೋಡೋಣ. ವೆನ್ ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ಹೌ ಆರ್ ಯು ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ರೈಬ್ ಯುವರ್ ಎಮೋಷನ್ ವೆನ್ ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ಕಮ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಸಿಟ್ಸ್? ಡು ಯು ಸೇ ಓ ವಂಡರ್ಫುಲ್, ಅಮೇಝಿಂಗ್, ಗ್ಲೋರಿಯಸ್, ಬ್ಯೂಟಿಫುಲ್, ಬ್ಲಿಸ್ಫುಲ್, ದೆನ್ ಆಯಿತು ಬುಕ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮುಗಿದೇ ಹೋಯ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಏನು? Nothing. There are millions of emotions that we cannot express. But one beautiful melodic phrase can express that. Now, that was so wonderful, Chetanji. Thank you so much. Now, the last presentation by none other than B.C. Manjunath. ಜೋರಾಗಿ ಚಪ್ಪಾಳೆ ಹೊಡೆದು ಕರೀರಿ ಅವ್ರನ್ನ. ಬಿ ಸಿ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಪರಂಪರೆ. He belongs to a very, very big tradition. That is probably why his initial itself is BC, the before Christ. So that becomes BC. And such an amazing musician, an amazing percussionist, an academician, a wonderful teacher, a composer, a brilliant performer, a percussionist who has single-handedly taken the glory of Indian classical music, Carnatic classical music, through Konnakol to every single corner of Europe and elsewhere. And Konnakol ಎಷ್ಟು ಬಿ ಸಿಯಿಂದ ಕೊನ್ನಕ್ಕೋಲು ಎಷ್ಟು ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲರ್ ಆಗೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂದರೆ ನಮಗೆ ಹೆದರಿಕೆ ಆಗೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಎಲ್ಲ ಸಂಗೀತ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಕೊನ್ನಕ್ಕೋಲು ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಏನಪ್ಪ ಮಾಡೋದು ಅಂತಾಗೆಲ್ಲ ಗಲಾಟೆ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಹಿ ಈಸ್ ಅನ್ ಅಮೇಝಿಂಗ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್, ಎ ವಂಡರ್ಫುಲ್ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಬೀಯಿಂಗ್. B.C. Manjunath, our final presentation. Over to you, B.C.
Guru Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurudevo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Matru Devo Bhava, Pitru Devo Bhava, Atithi Devo Bhava, Acharya Devo Bhava. These are the two shlokas that I would like to really concentrate on today, because I think the whole meaning of our culture, probably being human, is hidden in these two shlokas. What I'm trying to do today is I'm trying to draw some parallels to the personal experiences that I have had and try to do a little bit of storytelling of what I have experienced so far in my life. Seeking the divine blessings of Paramapujya Swamiji and seeking the permission from the chairs, Dr. Manjunath sir and Rashmi Malik madam, and seeking the inspiration from the beautiful notes played by Sri Rajesh and some amazing presentation given by Chetan sir. And of course, to you all, I humbly bow down and try to make a small presentation of what is running in my mind. In our culture, I think the most important thing beyond anything, especially I would like to address this to somebody of my age or younger than me, is probably Guru. In my house, I have been taught that there is no one beyond Guru. Even if God is angry with you, run to your Guru, he will save you. That's the one thing that has been constantly been fed to my mind by my parents. Why I am trying to tell this is because, of course, my topic is, I will come there. It is Rhythmise, the lives of youth, lessons from Konnakol. But still, I think this prelude to where I'm heading is very much necessary for what I'm going to say later. Why is Guru needed is a constant question that I have been thinking of all my life. The most simple answer that I get normally is, if I am out of inspiration, if I go and just take one darshan of my Guru, be it my spiritual Guru or my music Guru or Guru that I have learned any lesson with, inspiration always comes out of him or her. If I feel that I am the greatest of all, if I have the best, if I think I'm number one in the world, just if I go in front of my Guru, he will break all my ego and then make sure that I come down on my knees and then cry. If I don't have confidence in, like, let us say, if I don't have confidence to address you all, standing in front of you all, I think of my Guru, and in no matter of microseconds, I get the confidence of speaking. This is one of the greatest things about Guru that I can tell what I have experienced. What I'm going to speak today is, please do treat it as Hamsakshira Nyaya, meaning the bird swan, if you give a drink which is mixed with milk and water, swan has the capability of just drinking the milk and then leave out the water. So why I'm trying to say this is, if there is something that you don't like about what I'm trying to say, please think that it all belongs to me. And if there is something that you like what I'm trying to say, it all belongs to my Guru and my parents. So, for me, there are two kinds of mindset. One is the conscious level and the subconscious level. In my house, I was always taught that I should never question my Guru. Whatever I've been told, I should simply accept that. Never ever question him. Why is forbidden in front of my Guru? But that was all crashed or defeated when I started traveling. Because when I started giving some workshops, even for the little ones who are as young as 4 or 5, the first thing they would do is, if I say something, ask them to learn something, they would tell me, why should I learn? This really shook me because even I have asked that question to my Guru, and then I have come home and then have had nice beatings from my parents, just because of asking, why did you say that to me? My father always told, don't ever question. He knows what is required for you. Because in Indian philosophy, Guru is a person who already understands what is running in your mind, all the questions that you have. But he will never give the answer right away. He will give the answer when the time is right, that you can understand that. So this why was something that troubled me a lot when I was traveling. And then I understood that there are 3 stages of conscious mind, which is, in Indian concept, it is about what, how, and why, where we listen to something which is new to us, and we say, oh, what is going on there? Is it something that interests me? And then after that, when we find out what was going on, we try to find how to do it. This is something, the next stage that happens. All these things are in the conscious mind. And then, when we are experts, for example, experts in our own rights, we try to question, why did we do all these things? After doing all these things, when we understand the why, what, and how, there comes the blissful state, which is the subconscious mind. So this is something that is a big circle of what, why, and how. Once you surpass that, you get to the blissful state. Anywhere in the world, either the why comes first, or the what comes first, or the how comes first. But still the final destination for all of us is just attaining the pure bliss. This is what I think has brought all of us together, and music is something that makes us attain bliss. Okay, so coming to the second shloka, Matrudevo Bhava, Pitrudevo Bhava, just those two things I would like to take. In music, let us think that music is a child. There are two parents to music. One is Shrutir Mata, Laya Pita. So, because of these two parents, music is born. Let us say Shruti is making sure that we lose our sense of being. It makes us lose ourselves and then forget about everything that's happening around us. Laya is something that wakes you up and then says, okay, you're still in the present, you know. So these are the two common and interesting factors that make music. So that's why, like, for example, our mother is someone who is very emotional, who keeps us always in the total bliss. At the same time, father is somebody who is always making sure that we understand the present situation and then also try to connect with what is present. That's why I think Shrutir Mata, Laya Pita are the two parents that make sure that the music comes out beautifully. When it comes to the youth, the topic is Rhythmize the lives of youth. I understand the peer pressure that youth go through today. It's impossible for them to just be stuck in the tradition, because that is a lot of pressure for them, because they have to do what their friends are doing. Every little child or every teenager, I have a teenager boy, so I know the struggles they go through. But the peer pressure that they go through is immense. So how do we actually make them interested in our Indian culture is a constant question that I always ask, because they are actually fighting with the modernization of something that they don't belong to. I wouldn't say West is wrong or East is right or whatever. Something that they're not used to from the childhood. For example, even in the West, a lot of people are getting attracted to yoga or our classical music. And then in their own rights, a lot of Western parents might think that that is wrong. The same way the Indian parents would think that learning something Western is wrong. I completely disagree with that, because modernization is really good, because change is the only constant. If something is not evolving, if something is not changing, life becomes so boring. I don't think anyone would just pass one single day without having a change from yesterday. Every day has to be different for all of us. And then that's how the life becomes very interesting. So I would say modernization is really interesting. But the problem with today's youth is the span of attention, I would say. With all kinds of TikTok videos happening, which is like 15 seconds. According to some study, there is a report that says that right now the youth's span of attention is just 3 seconds. If you don't hold them for the first 3 seconds, you have lost them. You can't get them back to the same performance or same art form or same place where you want them to be. So what happens at that time? So in those 3 seconds, you try to almost do everything that you want to do in a span of 3 hours. So, and then of course the success of an artist is judged by how viral his videos have become, how many views he has got, how many followers he or she has got. This is a very big struggle that the modern day youth is going through, I would say. So For that, I was literally thinking of how do I connect with this present-day youth? There should be a way, because the only thing that I know is classical music. I know nothing else. How would I interest them in what I do? I will try to speak to them in their own language, which is trying to sugarcoat everything that I want to say. Try to make it more attractive. Try to make it more approachable, more colloquial, less formal. Because the more formal we are in today's world, we are going far away from the youth. This is what I think. So being casual is very important for me. That's why I kind of like, I saw a great potential in this art form, which is called as Konnakol. Konnakol is a rhythmical language which majorly draws a lot of syllables from an instrument called as mridangam. Of course, you all know what is mridangam. Let me tell you a story about how mridangam came into existence, how Konnakol came into existence. It's a myth. Take it as an inspiration if it's not true, but try to just be with me for some time. This being Kartika Masa, it's the month of Lord Shiva. Shiva is an epitome of rhythm. And there was a demon whose name was Murtaja. As we all know, Trimurti, they only come down on our world only when there is a lot of bad things happening. It has to reach a pinnacle where a human cannot control anymore. So that was the state when Murtaja was already doing all kinds of really grave himsa things to the mankind. So Shiva came down. He destroyed him, being the supreme being, and then he tore him apart and made several pieces of his body and threw in all directions. And then what happened next was he was still angry and he was still dancing, because he's one of the greatest dancers. Like, for example, like Chetan sir said, Sangeeta is Geeta Vadya plus Nritya. So that means the way we move our body by playing this music, and then the way we vocalize our instruments, that's how Sangeeta is done. So Shiva was dancing, and Nandi and Bhrungi, the two holy bulls, they saw the anger of Shiva, and then they said, okay, we have to somehow calm down our master. So they took all the pieces of the demon which was lying everywhere, and they made an instrument out of it, mridangam, which is why Mrtaja and mridangam. This is one legend, one story that goes, the other story is something else. That's the problem also with present day's youth, because we have so many stories for one reference, and they say, why do you have so many stories? Which one is true? Of course, the story is just for you to get inspired. It has nothing to do if it happened or not. But the basic philosophy from India is to understand the meaning behind the story, not the story itself. That's what I think. So, coming back to the story, what happened was they started playing some sounds on the mridangam. And then suddenly Shiva was doing this Tandava Nritya. Tandava is a dance which is in a rhythm of 5. So suddenly he was disturbed by these sounds, and then the damaru that in his hands, which he was doing like this, fell down the 4 steps that was in front of him and made 4 different sounds. And that's how the first 4 sounds of Mridangam and Konnakol came into existence. So, what were those sounds? Ta, Dhi, Tum, Nam. Ta, Dhi, Tum, Nam. So, it's like these 3 sounds, ta, dhi, and tum, are questioning, and nam is kind of like answering. So you just observe the explanation, like the intention behind this. Ta, dhi, tum, nam. Ta, dhi, tum, nam. It's kind of like this meditative way of calming Shiva down. That's how Konnakol came into existence, Mridangam came into existence. And then what has happened after that is history. And I took this story as an inspiration to make a storytelling. Also, like when we are performing, what I think is music is not just a bunch of melodic or rhythmic notes that we are trying to play on the stage or in front of people. I think there should be a parallel of some storytelling in our playing. Otherwise, nobody would connect to that. So if you imagine a story and then start playing your music, it doesn't matter that the other person is understanding the same story as well. They can make their own story, but make sure that you're always trying to express it with your own story. Like for example, let us say, there is a train going, or like a cheetah chasing a deer. How would I express that? I was thinking about all these things. How would I express some of these life moments into music? So let's imagine that there is this deer which is afraid for its life, and then the cheetah is just chasing it. How would I express that in Konnakol? That was the moment where the cheetah caught the deer, you know? So it's kind of like, thank you. So this is something that I was thinking of, like how would I express all these life situations into the art form? And then slowly I started looking for some answers, and then I started trying to express that in these ways. So just to talk about Konnakol a little bit, how it came into, it is basically something that is heavily driven by Dravidian languages and Sanskrit. I would say why? Because normally in the language that we speak has almost all kinds of sound a mouth can make. Try to believe me, what is inside this part from here is an orchestra by itself. Only thing that we have to do is we have to explore how to express that. Just imagine, I will try to quickly go through what is there in our alphabets. There are a lot of vowels, a, I, I, U, U, E, I, O, O, aha, which are the sounds that we make without using the tongue. We don't use the tongue to make these sounds. Then comes the consonants, where this part of the tongue is being used. Ka, kha, ga, gha, nya. And just try to imagine. I know you're all trying to do it. I know that. You're trying to experiment. Afterwards also you will go and do that, I know that. And then what happens? The upper palate of your mouth, upper palate is this one. Your tongue is making a strange shape of this, and then it's trying to do this. Cha, cha, ja, ja, nya. Are you making it? Yeah? Okay. Then the tongue makes a very peculiar twist like this, right? Which means there is this upper palate, there is the teeth. Behind the teeth, there is a lump. You put your tongue behind the lump and make the sounds, the heavy sounds. Ta, ta, da, dha, na. Are you trying that? Yes. Okay. And then what happens after that is both the teeth, you try to touch the teeth with your tongue and try to make ta, tha, da, dha, na. Afterwards comes closing the mouth. Pa, pa, ba, bha, ma. And then whatever is left, we do it in the last line. Yara, lava, shesha, saha, laksha. See how beautiful is our language. The way it's designed is absolutely brilliant. There is almost nothing that you cannot pronounce Of course, you have your own accent, because when we speak English, because of the ta, ta, da, da, na, we talk like an Indian where we have this heavy accent. Do you agree with me, Dimitri? Right? So this is the main reason that we have this heavy accent, which is called as an Indian accent, because we have so many consonants which has separate, different, very special positions in our mouth. So so if you try to search for sounds with this orchestra that's happening in your mouth, I'm sure you'll be able to come up with lot of creative explorations. You can try and do a lot of things with your mouth, I would say, because already the best musical instrument that God has given to us is our voice and our human body. So we can try and do a lot of things. So this is something that I wanted to tell, that because, for example, if you want to make somebody who is not used to this Dravidian language or Sanskrit language, if you ask them to make, can everyone say kitta taka? Kitta taka? Tarikitta. So when you say it perfectly. You know why? Because you know all the positions of your tongue inside the mouth, and then you don't even think about it for a minute, because you keep listening to that from your childhood. But make a Westerner or make somebody who is not used to these languages say kitataka. How would they say kitataka? No, please. There are a lot of things that they say that we can't say. They will be laughing at us at the same time, right? If you ask them to make tarikita, they say tarikita. Talango, they say talango. If you ask us to read qu'est-ce que vous voulez, that's French. Still, a French would hear an Indian accent in my language. He would say, that's an Indian speaking with his accent. ¿Cómo está? ¿Todos bien? You know, all these things is very, very, because there's a music. It's not just the words, it's the expression. There's a music in our way of speaking. Only if that music comes to us, we can speak the way it has to be spoken. That's the way we have to learn a language. Because one of my friends told me that when he was having dinner with the greatest tabla maestro, Zakiru Hussain sir, he said one thing: if you want to understand a culture, you have to break bread with those people. Unless you eat with them for some time, unless you spend with them for some time, you will never understand the culture. In today's world, this is what is happening, because it's all about, all our gurus are YouTubes, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. These are our gurus. How can we experience the culture? I don't think there's any way that we can understand the culture. Unless all your 5 senses are in the place where the culture exists, I don't think we can be able to be truthful to the culture. This is my feeling, because looking at YouTube, you can hear, you can sing, but you cannot smell, you cannot touch, you cannot feel. All these 5 senses should be in the place where you learn. So it's very, very important for us to be at the Guru Samakshama. Otherwise, whatever we have learned is not complete. Saying all these things, I would like to just present 2 videos to you, the way I have driven some inspiration from mathematics, and then inspiration from some theater, and then I will leave the stage. So can we please play the video that has, okay, how many of you know Fibonacci numbers? Okay, there are a few hands. Okay, a Fibonacci number is something that exists in the nature. If you look at a sunflower or any kind of flower, or the patterns of the nature that is being around you, it starts from nothing, and then there is 1, after 0, there is 1. So you keep adding the previous number. So 1 plus 0 is 1. Then what's the next number? 1 plus 1. The previous number is 2. Then 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 plus 2 is 5. 5 plus 3 is 8. 8 plus 5 is 13. So this number is infinite. So I took some inspiration. I would like to say a small story. I hope I have another 2-3 minutes. Yeah. Okay. A small story about this Fibonacci video that you're going to look at. It would not be the same if you had just seen it, me reciting. There is a beautiful graphic representation of this done by a web portal called Percusio. Unless it was there, I don't think it would have been so interesting. So this Fibonacci is something that I was introduced to by my father. And then one day, about 4 years ago, when he was in his deathbed, I was so sad. And then I saw my son watching something on Discovery Channel about Fibonacci numbers. So suddenly I remembered my father had told about this to me when I was 9 years old. How can a 9-year-old understand all these things? But he just told it to me. And then I started trying to find what I can do. And then I did some nice presentation. And then I went to him, and then he was sleeping there. He could barely speak. I said, Father, can I just show you that I've done something in these Fibonacci numbers? He said, I'm really tired today. I can't listen to you. Can we do it tomorrow? So next day, when I went there, he was no more. So he could never hear what I was going to show it to him. Then after 3 or 4 days, I made a video and put it on YouTube. It became one of the most watched videos of my lifetime. And then it's not because that I have done it. It is because my father, who is also my guru, resides in this composition. And then he's the one who made me do it. So kindly watch this. This is about 2 or 3 minutes. And then let us see what you feel about it. Thank you. Can we please play the video? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. na tum ta tik kit na tum trigadum trigadum ta trigadum trigadum ta trigadum trigadum ta trigadum 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 ta trigadum 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 ta trigadum 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 ta trigadum 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 ta trigadum 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 ta trigadum ta. Thank you. Thank you very much. And then just one last video, which is about 2 minutes. It's for fun. You know, music also can create some theater fun, but without compromising the quality of the deepness of classical music. This is what we were trying to achieve here. The video is with one of my friends whose name is Pratap Ramachandra, who lives in London. We were just fooling around and saw that this video came up. So let us see how it goes. So please. 3, 4. Thank you. Thank you very much. So what I would like to say about this video is whatever is happening in the video, the musical content is pretty serious. But the way it's been presented is something to try and engage even the serious music listeners, and then somebody who is not interested in music, somebody who is listening to it for the first time, to just draw them towards Carnatic music. That was the only sole idea. It has no intention to make fun of what we were trying to do. So saying about all these things, about my personal experience, about the way I went through my life a little bit as youth, the struggles I went through, I would like to thank Paramapuja Swamiji, the chairs, Dr. Mysore Manjunath sir, Rashmi Malik madam, and then you all and the dignitaries on the stage. Thank you very much for being so patient and listening to me. Namaste.
Thank you, Manjunath ji. That was a very, very engaging session. And your cheetah and deer reminded me of the legendary Pandit Kishan Maharaj. He used to come up, I think Chetan ji would remember. He used to come up and it really reminded me of him today. Just a little go back to Manjunath ji. He was talking about people coming to concerts, paying for them and crying. So one of the greatest legends, Srimati Kishori Amonkar, every time she sang her Bhairavi, every person in the audience would start crying. Every time she sang. But there was another reason when I cried yet again when she fired me from the stage for not having the sound system in place. So it's not just when you're crying out of that, you also get fired by your gurus, like Manjunath ji just said. Your guru can slap you and you then end up crying too. So, I mean, but I have to say this to all you young people here. I don't know about you, but for me, both the sessions have been so enriching. I'm going to go back on my flight weighing a lot more than I came. Manjunath ji will have to pay for the excess baggage because I'm carrying back so much with me. Such wonderful sessions, so enlightening. And I have to say, you people are so fortunate to be in such close proximity of Sadguru. And then having these great masters here connect with you, talk to you, address to you. I think you couldn't have been luckier than this. And I'm sure the way things are in coming times, you will be exposed to many, many more legends, more debates, more sessions like what we had today. And I'm sure many of you are going to get more and more inspired looking at all these great masters that you've heard today towards deeper into Indian classical traditions. Thank you so much. Thank you, Manjunath ji.
ಎರಡು ನಿಮಿಷ. The most suitable manner in which we can thank B.C. Manjunath is That's a Jital. And you see, ultimately the personal experience of every single musician is equivalent to 10 PhDs or 100 PhDs. Every single concert, I'm pretty sure Kunalji and Dimitri, you all agree with me, that the experience of every single musician, every single artist is so much. ಒಬ್ಬ ಕಲಾವಿದ ಲೈಫ್ ಪೂರ್ತಿ ಸ್ಯಾಕ್ರಿಫೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾನೆ. ಊಟಕ್ಕೆ ಇಲ್ಲದೇ ಇದ್ದರೂ, ಮನೆ ಇಲ್ಲದೇ ಇದ್ದರೂ ಜನಗಳಿಗೆ ಸಂತೋಷ ಕೊಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಬರ್ತಾನೆ. ಇಷ್ಟಾದರೂ ಏನೇ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳದೆ ಬೇರೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಸಂಗೀತಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಲೈಫ್ನೇ ಅವನು ಮುಡುಪಾಗಿಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾನೆ. ರೈಟ್? ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ನಾವು ತೋರಿಸ್ಬೋದಾಗಿರೋದಂಥ ಒಂದು ಸಣ್ಣ ಒಂದು ಅಭಿನಂದನೆ ಏನು, ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಒಂದು ಸರಿ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ಮಾಡೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಹಲೋ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಸಂಗೀತ ಕೇಳೋದು. ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಪ್ರಿಸೈಸ್ಲಿ ದಿ ರೀಸನ್ ಬಿಹೈಂಡ್ ಆಲ್ ದಿಸ್ ಕಾನ್ಫರೆನ್ಸ್. Swami's main idea, bringing all the musicians, all the stalwarts like this and there, this morning session today or every single concert, and making all of us sit and then making so much of arrangement. ನಿಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರನ್ನೂ ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಂದು ನಿಮಗೆಲ್ಲರನ್ನೂ ಪೋಷಣೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂರಿಸಿ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ ಇದು? ಈ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಕಾನ್ಫರೆನ್ಸ್ಗೂ ನೀವು 1,000 ರೂಪಾಯಿ 10,000 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟರು ಸಿಗದೇ ಇರೋಷ್ಟು ಲ್ಯೂಮಿನರೀಸ್ ಪ್ರತಿದಿನ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ. ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಬ್ಬರನ್ನು ಕರೀತಾರೆ. ಏನಕ್ಕೆ? ನೀವು ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಆ ಫೀಲಿಂಗು. ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಟು ಟೆಲ್ ಯು how wonderful our culture is, just to tell you how glorious our classical music is, our art is, our Bharatanatyam is, our every single Sanatana Dharma is. ನಿಮ್ಮಿಂದ ಏನು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಸ್ವಾಮಿ? ಏನೂ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅಮ್ಮ ನೀನು ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಬಾ, ನೀನು ಕುಲ್ತ್ಕೊಂಡು ನಿನಗೆ ಸಂಸ್ಕಾರ ಎಲ್ಲ ನಿನಗೆ ಬರಲಿ, ನಿನಗೆ ಮುಂದೆ ನಿನ್ನ ಜೀವನ ತುಂಬ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರಲಿ ಅಂತ ಒಂದೇ ಒಂದು ಸಮಾಚಾರ ವಿತ್ ಓಪನ್ ಫುಲ್ ಹಾರ್ಟ್ ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ಬ್ಲೆಸಸ್. ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಸಾಧ್ಯನಾ ಇದು? ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಸಾಧ್ಯನಾ ಇದು? ಯಾತಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಬರ್ತೀವಿ? ಯಾತಕ್ಕೆ ದೊಡ್ಡ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಮ್ಯೂಸಿಷಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ? ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಟು ಶೋ ಅವರ್ ಸಾಲಿಡಾರಿಟಿ ವಿತ್ ಎವ್ರಿ ಸಿಂಗಲ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ದಟ್ ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಬಿನ್ ಡೂಯಿಂಗ್. ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಪ್ರಪಂಚ ನೋಡಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಕುಲಗೆಟ್ಟೋಗಿದೆ ನಿಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ. ನೀವು ಪೇಪರ್ ನ್ಯೂಸು, ಟಿ ವಿ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಹಾಕ್ಕೊಂಡು ಒಂದು ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆದರೂ ನಿಮಗೆ ಸಂತೋಷವಾಗಿರೋದೇನಾದ್ರು ಇದೆಯೇನೋ? ಅದನ್ನು ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಈಚೆಗೆ ಹೋಗಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಅನಿಸುತ್ತೇನೋ? ಆ ಪ್ರಪಂಚ ಆ ಥರ ಕೆಟ್ಟೋಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಅನಿಸಲ್ವೇನೋ? ಎವ್ರಿ ಸಿಂಗಲ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ವ್ಯತ್ಯಾಸ, ಏನು ಸ್ವರ್ಗ. ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಏನೂ ಬೇಡ, ನೀವು ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ದಂಗೆ ಕೇಳಮ್ಮ, ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಸಂಗೀತ ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಊಟ ತಿಂಡಿ ಎಜುಕೇಷನ್ನು ಸಂಸ್ಕಾರ ಬುದ್ಧಿ ಗೀಳ್ವೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ, ನೀವು ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಬಂದು ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಕೇಳು. ಇದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಸ್ವರ್ಗ ಇನ್ಯಾವುದಾದ್ರೂ ಬೇಕಾ? ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ವೈ ಆಲ್ ದೀಸ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್ಡ್, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ವಿ ರಿಪೀಟೆಡ್ಲಿ ಕೀಪ್ ಆನ್ ಡೂಯಿಂಗ್ ಆಲ್ ದೀಸ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡರ್ ದಿ under the patronage of Parama Pujya Swami. This is the presentation of our Sri Sathya Sai University for Human Excellence. This university ಇವತ್ತು ತುಂಬ ದೊಡ್ಡದಾಗಿ ಬೆಳೀತಾ ಇದೆ, ನಿಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತು. It is shaping up like one of the foremost educational academic institutions in this country now. And then next time when you come here, you will see, just like BC Manjunath said, what number, huge like, I don't understand. Yav number? Fibonacci, whatever. So 1, 5, 7, 23, next time it will be 100, our university will be 2,572, something like that. So that is the way, with the Swami's blessings, everything is happening. And I take this opportunity to immensely express my very, very respectful, sincere and affectionate gratitude to each one of you for sparing your time. Rashmi ji, you have come all the way from Delhi despite all your other busy schedule. We're really, really looking forward to having you here very, very frequently. So did Chetan ji and BCG, and then my wonderful friend Rajesh. And over to you. My heartfelt love to all of you for making this one such a wonderful thing. Pranams to Swamiji.
Thank you to our wonderful speakers, as well as our session chair and conference chair, for making this such an engaging and interactive session. And I think it really showed that classical music can evolve, can be made so enjoyable, relevant, and accessible to the youth. We would like to felicitate our speakers, and we request Dr. Shrikant Murthy, Vice Chancellor of the University, to hand over our tokens of appreciation. First to Mrs. Rashmi Malik. Also to Vidwan U. Rajesh. Pandit Chetan Joshi. Vidwan BC Manjunath. Thank you all once again, and we request for a group photo of the session. With this, we conclude the session, and we shall reconvene for the valedictory session, which will begin at 5:30 p.m. We request all to be seated by 5:10 p.m. Sai Ram.